saying that cop killed her son. I think that's really what happened.
I ain't shooting my way out of problems no more. I'm out the game.
Box done. You believe her? I think the question is whether she believes herself.
You want to make some money? Always hiring.
We need the money, man. I ain't trying to go back to my mother's. Everybody got their hustles.
So we're finally back into the groove of South Jamaica Queens back in the 90s, and Raising Kanan Season 3 really have made a great start. We've seen the dark turn of Detective Howard, and even though I feel he gave Burke every opportunity to change her ways until the very last moment, he did what needed to be done. So we're going to see the aftermath of Burke's death with her funeral. However, the job may not be done because Adina Foyle, who's Burke's ex-girlfriend, she could be a huge problem. Stefano is set to kidnap Rock and give her one last job to carry out for him, and then we've got Unique taking advantage of meeting him by potentially getting back in the game. Now on the topic of connects, we're also going to see Juliana and Joaquin back in, which will no doubt be a meeting with Raquel. And will she stick to what she said in episode 1? And if she does, how will Joaquin and Juliana take it? We've also got Duke and Lou back in the groove of things in a makeshift studio at Lou's apartment, but he does need to lay off the drink. We've also got the story between Ronnie and Unique, and no doubt Ronnie will continue to be trouble, so in this video, as usual, we're going to be running through a quick preview of what we can expect, some predictions based on these exclusive images, and some interview quotes giving a bit more depth to Ronnie Mathis in Raising Kanan Season 3, Episode 2. Now the title of Episode 2 is Flip Mode, and the synopsis reads, Rock continues her farewell tour with one last job for the Mafia, while Kanan drives further into the drug game with a creative idea. Meanwhile, Howard faces a new threat at the precinct. Now, what do they mean by flip mode when it comes to where we are at this moment in time in regards to the storyline? At this moment in time, I see it as change and a lot of flipping of alliances, relationships, and there are some who want out the game, meanwhile there are some who want in the game. For others, they're looking to forge their own path like Jukebox, so in my opinion, expect them to continue to lay the foundation of Rock continuing to say she's out the game, and them taking a patient approach with the storyline, which is what separates Raising Kanan to Force and Ghost, which are both very fast paced. So first things first, we've got Rock in a meeting with Stefano, and we know her and Unique will be interrupted by some masked men and taken to Stefano. He tells her he's got one last job for her, and so what job does he have for Rock? You have to remember Sal Buscemi created a hell of a shitstorm at the end of season 2 by trying to wipe out the Thomas family along with Unique.
The cops are fucking everywhere. NYPD so far up my ass that the police commissioner is recommending more fucking roughage in my diet.
So not only did he fail, right now New York is red hot full of law enforcement, and we know that's caused Stefano huge issues. He said it in episode 1. He's afraid that his businesses are bugged, as well as law enforcement being all over him. So as we all know by now, one of the principles of the 48 laws of power is to keep your hands clean, and what better way to have Rock take care of the issue for him? So that's my logical guess. Now what it also does is, it also allows the storyline to focus more on the Thomases if Sal Buscemi is taken out. They can then focus on Kanan being in the streets and meeting these old heads like Snaps and Ronnie, Jukebox's development, and so on. So that's who I think Marvin has his gun pointed towards. Now, not only will this bring Rock back into the game, something she doesn't want to do, it also gives Unique a chance to get back into the streets. We've got Unique having a meeting with Stefano, where they're going to talk about whether they believe Rock, but I'm sure that's not the only topic up for discussion. Unique at this moment in time finds himself without a supplier, and with Rock out the game, he has sensed an opportunity to take Queens for himself, because at this moment in time, there is a power vacuum. Queens is just waiting for someone to step in and be the main man or woman. So let's see what comes out of this meeting with Stefano, and whether Unique can stamp his authority in the streets. Now the problem that Unique will find is, his brother Ronnie will definitely want to get back in the mix. For those who have seen the season trailer will know that Ronnie is going to cause Unique some huge problems in the streets, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of conflict between them. We could already sense the tension in episode 1, and sooner or later they're gonna butt heads, there's no doubt about that. So just to add some more context, this is what Sasha Penn had to say on Ronnie's character in a recent interview. Ronnie's such an enigma that it makes him really scary. It's like he's always that guy you can't wrap your head around, the quiet guy that all of a sudden you're like, whoa, where the fuck did that come from? It gets really scary real fast. So when it comes to Ronnie, expect some big moves at some point, but for the time being, he'll remain that scary, mysterious character until it's time for him to really kind of fuck shit up. Now we've also got Lou and Marvin in a club, and where do they take Lou's character? He was on the drink in episode 1, and it does seem like he's gonna be on the alcohol again. He's not happy that Rock now wants out the game, and to be fair to him, I don't blame him. If I were him, I'd be pretty pissed off as well, because Rock is definitely a hypocrite, but I really do fear for Lou's character. He can easily go off the rails, and if he believes that he can leave the game just like Rock, I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening at some point in season 3. We also saw what happened when he said he was taking a night off in season 1 and how that almost led to his death. And that's the big difference between him and Rock.
Some people born to be doctors, lawyers, ball players. I'm here to move weight. It's what I do. It's who I am.
Even though Rock says she's out the game, she'll definitely be looking over her shoulder, whereas Lou drops his guard. He actually believes it when he says he's out, whereas at some point in season 3, Rock will accept the fact she's born to move weight. So that's the huge difference, so let's wait and see what they do with Lou. Now, speaking of Rock being on flip mode, it seems like we're gonna see her having a meeting with Joaquin and Juliana, and this will be very interesting to see how this goes down. But it's never easy just leaving a connect at the drop of a dime. But there's also friction and tension between her and Juliana, who's looking very smug in this scene. Let's also not forget at the end of season 2, she did Rock over when she made a deal with Tremont and Abraham behind her back. Her character also took a huge turn from being a battered and bruised wife to making business decisions sitting next to Joaquin. But I am going to stick to my guns because I did mention her as a death predictions for season 3 and I am going to stick to it. Rock doesn't take shit from no man, and she certainly isn't going to take shit from Juliana, but if she does make a move, then that will definitely cause problems with Joaquin. That's the dilemma. So let's see how this conversation goes down, whether they allow Rock to leave or whether Joaquin and Juliana kind of complicate things. With Duke, this is a character that I broke down in a lot of detail this week, and for those who may have missed it, I went through a character arc from seasons 1 and 2, breaking down a character psyche, and how the writers are playing a very patient game when it comes to her development, and the same goes with Kanan. But we're also going to see the return of Mr. Bingham, and so Nicole's memory will still be there for Duke. And if you actually think about the timeline, it's not even been that long since her death either. So she suffered 2 huge losses in a short period, Nicole in season 1 and Kenya in season 2. Now why Mr. Bingham is here, I think he'll always be there for Duke. He made it clear at the end of season 2 that he'll always be there for her, even when Duke came clean about the blue caps. So let's see what Mr. Bingham has for Duke. Now for both Lou and Duke, music can actually be their saving grace. We know both of them are going through a real tough moment, but this is something that will bring them together. However, having said that, I do think Lou does owe her an apology for giving her song to Ziza, but it does seem like they'll work things out. But how long they'll be all smiles for, I think we all know it probably won't last. Last but not least, Detective Howard giving the eulogy at Berg's funeral. Now this reminds me of the time Tommy walked into Angela's funeral without a care in the world, gave his condolences to Paz Valdez and her father, and looked Ghost straight in the eyes. It was stone cold, and the fact that we have Detective Howard here giving the eulogy for Berg is very similar. It's really cold from Howard. However, does he have another problem on his hands? Adina Foyle, who is the ex-girlfriend of Berg, will also be at the funeral, and it does seem like she's got a few words for her father. So let's wait and see if she buys the fact that Berg's death is a suicide, because I have a funny feeling she won't. Now elsewhere in episode 2, away from the exclusive images, we're also going to see Kanan trying to step into the street game with a new supplier. So there's also that to look forward to, and seeing how he really starts to build the foundation of his very own organization away from Rock. But that's a preview of all things Raising Kanan season 3 episode 2. So let me know your thoughts and predictions down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.